There is no big Steel Authority of India limited challenge. Every challenge has got to do and can be tackled by putting it in small, small parts.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your inspiring address. Your discussion on water stewardship, especially through real world examples from Singapore and initiatives undertaken by Hindalco, has given us a valuable perspective on how water management can move beyond compliance to become an integral part of responsible and sustainable business.
Our next speaker, Ms. Gargi Ghorpade, partner, Deloitte, India, will unfortunately not be able to join us due to some personal reasons. So our next speaker, Mr. Somesh Das, manager, Deloitte, India, is here with us. With expertise across ESG strategy, sustainable transformation, ESG reporting, and responsible business practices, Mr. Das brings valuable experience from the sustainability consulting landscape. His work spans key areas such as ESG integration, climate action, sustainability reporting, and emerging trends in the sustainability space. What makes this moment even more special for us is that Mr. Somesh Das is a proud alumnus of the School of Sustainability, XIM University. We are truly delighted to have him back with us today. So please join me in giving a warm welcome to Mr. Somesh Das as he joins us on the dais. A big round of applause, please. Sir, please.
Uh, yeah. Firstly, thank you, School of Sustainability, Dean's Office, my dear faculty members, Conserve, the committee, and the dignitaries, as well as all the students present here. Thank you for the opportunity to invite me back to campus and talk about my journey and about today's topic. Uh, I would actually want to start with something that is personal to me because I think that it actually explains where I'll go with this. Back in 2015, when I started my career, I was working in CSR and then gradually transitioned into waste management. And back then, you know, the kind of things that I used to hear if I sit in a room with clients was mostly on the lines of community impact, impact assessment, donations, CSR donations, health and social topics were quite relevant, like health and safety, human rights, labor. Then there was a shift, you know, in the early 2000s. The kind of questions that clients started asking was more on the lines of climate. Climate actually started taking the center stage, and questions were evolved around climate change, impact of climate change on businesses, the opportunities that came with climate change, the risks with climate change, and so forth. You know, with this shift, and why the purpose I speak is I want to share real experiences that I have gone through in this period, and uh, so that you guys can connect more with this topic and what lies ahead for you. And let me give you a few examples of what those conversations look like. So a manufacturing company would you know want to understand you know, they would come with questions like, there's a heap load of waste in my facilities which is a source of energy. What can I do with it? uh, So that's a climate topic wearing a waste hat, you know. A textile manufacturer or a FMCG manufacturer would want to understand that they have a lot of emissions, a lot of scope 3 emissions, and these emissions happened outside the factory. So these came from their value chain, their suppliers, right? So the question was, how do I really get my suppliers to commit to net zero? uh, an industry, energy intensive industry like a company like a cement company would want to understand that transitioning to uh, or reducing emissions was a matter of time. It was a game of time. It would take time. So how do they transition into renewables? And that opened up a lot of questions on capex, on capital, on energy access. So I'm just sharing my perspective on how these conversations have shaped over a period of time, and that has actually defined what companies started reporting on. So the shift initially, was there was a regulation in India, PRR, Business Responsibility Reporting by Ministry of Corporate Affairs, which was more like a tick in the box. It was a yes or a no kind of a format. It was very thin. That was transitioned into BRSR. Now this BRSR core companies have started reporting on GRI, CSRD, and whatnot. But and they are reporting on energy KPIs, waste KPIs, water KPIs, all of it. And there's a common story that's there in most of the reporting. Uh, it's always energy reduction, it's waste reduction, it's reduction in water consumption or withdrawal, and there are always three separate lines in a report. They do not talk to each other, and that's where the real problem begins. Because a CSO or a CFO would want to understand that where do they all meet, and that's where I come at the topic for today on the nexus between water and energy. So this is just a very high level sort of a timeline on how mankind, how civilization have we've utilized water. It really begins with water usage for cooking and all in the Mesopotamian civilization, followed by water for irrigation. The first signs were in the Roman civilization. Uh, what really marked was things that happened with coal, steam in the Industrial Revolution, which actually was a game changer, where organizations back then started scaling. I don't want to spend too much time on this. I'm sure you know this must be the part of your academics as well. But the underlining message here is, uh, since the last 5-6 thousand years, natural resources have always enabled growth for companies. And what has changed is not our dependence on water or energy. It is the scale, the complexity that comes with managing this dependency. And that's where the topic of nexus actually comes into play, where I think Vaishali ma'am has already explained about this nexus where water is needed for energy also requires water. uh, Extraction, water extraction, your pumps, water extraction of groundwater, surface water, you need to run pumps. Facility distribution requires energy throughout water distribution. So again, and in energy, things like hydropower generation, water is the key element. So it becomes very essential that these are two sides of the same coin actually, and very like just refer to my notes where Vaishali ma'am spoke about a regulation that was passed in 2017 for thermal plants on desulfurization. Now in 2016, WRI had done a study that 18 plants, thermal plants, were shut down. Can somebody tell me the reason of this shutdown? 18 thermal plants in India. Anyone wants to take a guess? Okay, sorry. Water scarcity. 17 were shut. So that's the risk that actually comes with this. And there was a technology that NTPC had actually come up with, which is known as ACC, air cooled conditioner, where it ensured that steam that was used for water that was used for cooling the turbines was efficiently upgraded with technology, and that in turn resulted in 60% less usage of fresh water. That's a big number for any industry, let alone the thermal, which is heavily reliant on water for cooling purpose. Yeah. So now, just imagine a situation where there's water scarcity. And okay, before I go to that, I want to throw some light on the pharma sector. Why I'm choosing pharma sector is because the sector that way is interconnected. There are subsectors within pharma, and there's an underlying sector, chemical. And this I talk from my experience. Now, pharma is divided into two major categories. One is generics. Generics are your likes of Cipla, Glenmark, Sun Pharma. You all must have had a dolo during COVID, right? These are your generic companies where there is no innovation. They use patented products by innovators, which is the second category of pharma company, right? And these pharma companies, these generic companies, they are again divided into API manufacturers, CDMOs, and again how these manufacturers function is they manufacture molecules for each other. And chemical sector is an underlying sector for pharma. That's where they procure their chemicals from. Now, I'll again break this down with a simpler example. Now, this room has UG students, PG students, right? So, UG students, you guys consider yourself as a company and you want to buy your raw materials from PG students. So, your PG students become your supplier, right? Your PG students, I don't know where you guys sitting, but that's it. Okay, you guys buy your raw materials from me. So I am your supplier, right? And I buy your material. So you are my customer. That's how interconnected pharma is. Okay. Now that you've understood the sector, again, there's a second layer to it, that is the chemical. Now that you've got the sector, uh, there are two major hubs of pharma manufacturing in India. One is Gujarat, and the second one is Telangana. Again, within Gujarat, Dahej, Devas, these areas, Surat, all water stress. We saw from ma'am's slide earlier, and a lot of plants, a lot of pharma manufacturers are in Pitampur, which is also a water scarce area, right? So now I want you all to imagine, please, that tomorrow there's a water scarcity in one of the areas where you're manufacturing. How does that impact your business? where where will the first line of impact hit? Anyone from UG or first year? Yeah.
Water will first impact on the it will be first impact on the water, that is water and energy that are being used as the production for the steel or aluminium. So water and energy will be first impacted if water scarcity is there.
Okay. Okay, that's close. So the first area that will be hit will be your operations, where you're procuring your water for manufacturing, for processing, for cleaning, for filtration, all these kinds of activities. Yeah. What is the second layer that will get hit for a company? Sorry, I can't hear. Supply chain. Okay, where in your supply chain? Is it your supplier or your customers? It's actually your customers, but good try. Because the customers are expecting an order, right? And when you cannot manufacture it, so there's a delay in batch. So that's an actual case of supply chain failing. It's not about the company failing, it's about the entire value chain falling down, right? And where does that again lead to? Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm a second year student of MBASM. The question that you posed, demand supply gets affected. Basically, the economies get affected through this thing shortage. Yeah. Thank you.
Right. That's right. So what it affects is your balance sheets. So basically, a disrupted supply chain because of scarcity, your operations are disrupted, hence your financials are exposed. And this is actually happening with a lot of pharma companies, with a lot of chemical companies. I was speaking to Dean ma'am yesterday, and I was sharing my experience of working with a giant innovator based out of Bangalore, where they actually cancelled the order with one of their suppliers because they did not have the right reporting required for water indicators, and hence they had scored less in EcoVadis. You guys are aware about EcoVadis, about rating indices? So it's a true story. The contract was cancelled. Some of your interns are already working in that company. I cannot name, but that's what has actually happened. So the idea of talking about this is to make you understand that this is a real problem that is actually happening. And very honestly, the solution to any one problem or any one response will create a pressure on another, honestly. Because let's talk about desalination. Of course, it's a new source of water in an area where fresh water may not be abundant, but again, energy is used, energy is consumed. In the case of reduction of water or reduction in water discharge, it also demands energy, consumption of energy, and the same goes for energy as well, production of energy. So the idea is not to confuse you guys, but it's very important for companies to draw a very balanced and a thin line. I'll take an example of another natural resource that is waste. And this was something that was done by Hindalco. And what they did was, are you aware about SPL, spent pot lining? It's a hazardous waste. And what companies do is they send it to disposal. But what the problem is it creates leachate, it gets into your food chain, and that affects human health. So what Hindalco did was, and I was there actually when this was happening in 2020. I was there during the installation of the crusher, where Shali ma'am was there. So Hindalco had partnered with Ambuja, uh, Lafarge Cement, and so the crushers used to crush these big boulders of SPL, and it was used as a raw material, as an input in the cement industry. So you were not, so here you see the problem was not getting shifted, it was actually getting absorbed into the process of another industry, and hence the balance was getting maintained. Yeah, yeah, yes, ma'am. Yeah, it was actually adopted from, if I'm not wrong, if I remember it correctly, it was adopted from Middle East. It was done in one of the Gulf countries and the first one in India. So that actually brings me to the end of this presentation. I didn't want to stretch it too long with concepts. I really wanted to share my experiences, and so I'll just leave you with a thought from one of the recent movies where it says that the thing that you want the most is the thing that you already had, and the thing that you already had is what you had and you lost. So that's the same, it goes for sustainability, it goes for businesses, and companies should act before you hear this siren song. Okay, thank you. I'll take any questions, if there are any.
Good morning, sir. My name is Bibhudatta Mohanty. I am from the second year batch actually. Uh, so my question is, as a country, we are aspiring to be developed by 2047 with the leadership of Honorable Prime Minister, and we also aim to be a net zero country by 2070. We are already both resource and water stressed in most of the part of the country. But additionally, the aspiration of our country to become a global giant in terms of data center will create additional pressure. If you look at the figure, I think in 2025 it was 1.5 gigawatt, and in 2032 we are aiming to reach 17 gigawatt, which is a huge jump.
Yeah.
And it will not create pressure only on the society. It will create pressure on the whole ecosystem industry also. So how it, we don't have a comprehensive framework, although Niti Aayog is trying to do it. But how do you see it? I mean, to tackle this situation, what should be your short-term and long-term steps or vision?
Okay. So I have been working with global capability centers, all of them around in and around Hyderabad. They are the ones. So GCCs are basically the technological arm of global multinationals. So somebody like a Rolls Royce, somebody like a BMW, somebody like a Novartis, they have all their GCCs, and these GCCs are responsible for AI, technology, and data centers. What you mentioned, there is no short-term, roadmap to, address the challenge that comes with water scarcity and the usage, the heavy usage of water consumption by these data centers. But if a company still aspires to do this in the long term, choosing of a location should be of the topmost priority. Uh, because it's very important for companies to assess the current groundwater level and then accordingly close in on where they want to put their data centers. So that's one of the steps that should be taken.
Thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, just to add, this is actually not a criteria right now while setting up these data centers. So the criteria is favorable, conditions, local talent, regulations, a lot of criterias, but water is not something that's considered right now, the current groundwater level. Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Shanis Siddiqui from MBA SMC. So, sir, as we know, if we take into consideration Singapore's model, Singapore relies solely on huge water recycling units for the industry needs. Whereas if we talk about India, it's a total different scenario because we have groundwater, we have fresh water, as well as we have large-scale recycling plants. So, sir, if we are moving from water neutrality towards water positivity, we need systems like ZLD and desalination plants, which ultimately adds to the emission level itself. So, as a future sustainable managers or graduates, how do we basically evaluate this trade-off from water neutrality to water positivity when we are using a framework such as ZLD and desalination, which totally adds to the emission at the end itself?
Okay. What would you do?
Sir,
What would you trade off?
uh, sir, I would find a middle way basically. So I would look into the different water stress levels in different parts of India, where the exhaustion or the exploitation level of groundwater is reached at its peak, and the recharge rate is not that good or adequate. I would go into ZLD or other desalination or recycling plants, but whereas the places where there's a good recharge of groundwater, I would still go for freshwater consumption.
Okay. Perfect. You've answered it. No, I mean, on a serious note, it's always important for us to balance the trade offs. That's what I was trying to also mention in my last slide. And once you arrive at that balance, you can take a call on what is your priority. Maybe in the short term, it can be water, and maybe in the medium term, you can phase it out and then go for your emissions. So it's not about achieving everything together. It can be done in parts, and that's how companies have done it. All these big players who are the leaders in sustainability. So sustainability was never done in a day or a year. It has been a journey of 10 years, 12 years, and that's why it's there. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. They are dependent. So energy will require water for cooling, and water, if you want to use water, for example, extraction of water from your groundwater to run your pump, basically you need energy, right? To, for treatment of water, which goes to your sewage treatment plant. So for that you require energy. That's the concept. It's the two sides of the same coin. Yeah. Thank you. So that's where these NTPCs, ACC, air cooled condensers, came into. They set a tone because they use air to cool, and it reduces their reliance, their dependency on fresh water. Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Titya Ramachandran from MBA SM batch 25-27 second year. So my question is, like you mentioned, the impact of water shortage hits the balance sheet. A water shortage in operations hits the balance sheet as well.
Right.
So, hello. So when evaluating a project, how do we put a financial value on the benefits, that benefits or shortcomings that are difficult to quantify, like water security or climate resilience? How do we put that financially? How do we look at it, reconcile through a financial lens?
Okay. So while setting up, if you're setting up a new project, there's a whole new different ball game that goes into the calculation of capex, opex. But companies have this strategy that's done every 2-3 years, which is known as double materiality.
Right.
Have you guys heard about it?
Yes.
Okay. Do you guys know what is it about?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Perfect. So initially it was single materiality. When I joined, single materiality was still practiced by companies where they would want to understand just from the impact lens. What is the impact of a company's activities on the environment, social, and stuff like that. Double motility actually introduces this financial lens where I'll just what we do is we interact with companies with the different HODs first a to understand the impact that the company has, and then what is the impact of these resources on the company's financials. And then there's a whole ranking exercise that goes with it where we understand through the likelihood, the severity, the probability, the likelihood of the occurrence of that, that's actually tied into the balance sheet. And once that is done, these through these impact, risks and opportunities, we companies can arrive at a particular material topic and rank it accordingly. So this actually helps them understand, okay, let's say there is a topic which is biodiversity, the IRO, which is the impact, risk and opportunity, are not as high, hence it may fall below on a particular quadrant on a risk matrix, whereas a topic like water may come up. So it all depends on the sector that you're operating. Maybe for a service sector, water may not be that high, but uh, if you're talking about steel, aluminum, pharma, chemical, water is always there in the top 5 at least. Top 5 to 7 you will always find water. So why, because you've arrived at the topic, the whole process of reaching there is financial assessment of the impacts and the risks related to water. Just an example, there are a lot of other topics in that laundry list.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, good morning, sir. Thank you so much for the session. I'm Aditya, I'm MBA first year. So my question is a bit generic per se. So in the presentation, you mentioned that many industries, they have to give out reports such as BRSR, GRI, TCFD, etc. So my perspective is that don't we think that industries are being scrutinized a lot for the way they're utilizing resources? Because in my personal observation, we as laymen and normal humans are utilizing water in a much concerning manner. Like to get warm water, we switch on cold water, wait for half an hour, and then warm water. So, do you really think industries are actually creating such a negative impact, or do we have to change the lens and look at the public in general?
I mean, it doesn't matter what I think. SEBI already wants companies to report, right? The regulator wants it.
But from a corporate perspective, if like I'm thinking industries are too nice, but then there's a harsh reality. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with the regulator.
Okay. Thank you.
In the beds of Kolkata or in Varanasi, you will see huge effluents being discharged in the water bodies. You can see the colorful water bodies. Who is creating this nuisance for the society? Industry, non-compliant industry. And hence, industry need to be regularized for not putting the effluent in the surface water bodies and polluting the bodies. I hope you are reading those stories in the media, the kind of river colors, water getting polluting and the human health hazard. So industry need to be regularized. Industry need to be seen through the regulator's angle to treat every drop of effluent and not to discharge it into surface water bodies.
Dig a meter or half, you will see the color over there. I'm talking about Pali Jalore area, the specific district, just because we have a lot of dyeing units over there. I'm talking about textile dyeing and the wet processing. So entire water is gone rogue, you can't drink it.
Just drawing the attention towards a social issue, human rights, labor. I would seriously suggest one of you guys to look at what companies in real estate do, and that would actually help you self-reflect. And then water, of course, is there, but so the issue is real. And thank you, ma'am, pointing out. So all the issues are real. What you hear, what you see. I know it's an age-old practice not to believe what you hear or believe half of what you see, something like that. But in environment, in social, it is actually happening. Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir, once again. So, my name is Pradnya Desai. So, my question to you, you rightly pointed out the historical civilizations as well as the 18 thermal plants which led to a shutdown for them. So, there are companies like Pepsi and Coca-Cola which do a co-petition when it comes to their water sustainability.
Which edition? Sorry.
Uh, so when it comes to companies like Coca-Cola or Pepsi or such giants, which do a co-petition in their sustainability. So what would you say? How can industry leaders, like other industry leaders, also take this route, or maybe another route, like an intermediate route this way?
I'm sorry, but I don't. Can you elaborate about this initiative? What does it do exactly?
So basically, they come together, and when it comes to their usage of water as well as their reusage of water, they do it together instead of doing it separately, as they are two big giants competing in the same market.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're talking about industry collaboration. I already told you, Hindalco is an aluminium company. They collaborate with cement. Real estate, I'll tell you, they follow the BOCW Act, which is for C&D waste, construction and demolition waste, which is extremely difficult to get rid of or do something with it. So, real estate companies are also they've started collaborating with chemical companies for the chemical breakdown of these materials, and then which is further going to get utilized in heavy energy intensive industries. So there's a lot of industry collaborations actually happening, and it's happening in India. It's no more a fact that सिर्फ यूरोप में होता है या कहीं और होता है. India में भी it's very much happening. Yeah.
लोग एफ्लुएंट लेके कॉमन एफ्लुएंट ट्रीटमेंट प्लांट को देते हैं, वहां से ट्रीटमेंट करके वो फ्रेश वाटर देता है. दे आर टेकिंग चार्जेस. देयर इज अ इन अंकलेश्वर गुजरात डिटॉक्स कंपनी, डिटॉक्स, जो जीआईडीसी इतना भी छोटा छोटा इंडस्ट्री है, वहां से वो एफ्लुएंट लेता है, करता है, अगेन उनको फ्रेश वाटर देते हैं. गुजरात में है और हाँ जयपुर।
Thank you.
रेनी सीजन में क्या करते हैं? रेनी सीजन में आपका लीटर वाटर कहाँ जाता है? एक क्वेश्चन
चिलर प्लांट है यहाँ पे पैकेज एसी। ये जो एसी सिस्टम है पैकेज एसी है कि डोमेस्टिक एसी है? क्योंकि पैकेज एसी और चिलर में कूलिंग टावर रहता है, आप एसटीपी हीटर वाटर को कूलिंग टावर में भी यूज कर सकते हैं। आप लोग अपने यहाँ पे एक्सप्लोर कर
Hello, hello, hello. What sir says, uh, right now in developmental project, in township project, in any big data centers, those are coming. One dual plumbing systems are there. Okay, what sir has raised the issue. What do you mean by dual plumbing system? In maximum, maybe some of the person are staying in apartment. Maybe you are in your hostel. When right now we are going for any environment clearance in front of the expert appraisal committee or state expert appraisal committee, one condition is there. We have to implement the dual plumbing system. What does it? The STP, you are mandatory to put a sewage treatment plant at your respective building, respective township. And in the dual plumbing system, the treated water. If you visited Chennai and Bangalore in some of the five-star hotel, when you uh, entering into the bathroom, one catalog was there. वहां पे लिखा होता है ना, your water may, it may be smell something odd because it is treated water. That is the dual plumbing water. That is the treated sewage water. Have you visited sewage treatment plant any day? Have you visited? Have you gone through the process? How it is treating? I don't think so. Have you visited? If not, then you please visit. You have to experience how the sewage water is converting into the treated water. Actually, I am representing ArcelorMittal Nippon Steel, AMNS India. How we are utilizing water. Our mining is Badville region. And we have one beneficiation at Keunjhar. Dabuna, that location is Dabuna. And we are producing pellet. Pellet is an intermediate product. First one is the fines, the raw material. Intermediate product is pellet. And the final product is we are putting that pellet in blast furnace, then we are producing steel. How we are transporting the material from Joda Vadville area to our main Hajira plant. We are collecting the fines from Joda Vadville area, and at Dabuna we are converting it into slurry. Okay, जो आता है उसको मिला के slurry बना देते हैं. Okay, it may be 70% 30% water. Why we are converting into slurry? Because we are transporting the slurry from Dabuna to Paradip, which is around 253 kilometers through slurry pipeline. Okay, we are not using any railway network or road network. We are transporting slurry through the slurry pipeline. 70% is my fines, iron ore fines, and 30% is my water. When it reaching at Paradip, okay, because you know where is Jodavad village, where is Paradip. What we are doing? We have one filtration unit. वहां पे हम क्या करते हैं? We are distinguish the solid material and water. We are recycling the water from the iron ore slurry, and that water you are utilizing in the pellet process and in our power plant. And some rest water is coming that we are supplying to the Paradip Port Authority. So we are running our plant at Paradip, but we are taking water from Baitarani, which is 240 kilometers away from my plant. So this is the way we are recycling the water. So what Sir says, what Madam has said, and what Somesh says, these are all digitalization. Why you are doing digitalization? To capture the data, to analyze the data. After analyzing, we can able to identify the risk, identify the impact, then accordingly we can make the management plan. I have 2 points. From environment perspective, I have 2 points. Where water is concerned, the main objective of water is conserve water. What Madam has says, जितना हो सकता है रेन वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग कीजिए. It is not only limited to me, not only limited to MNS India, it must be by the society also. When I think last time we have attended this program, you know, last year how much rain was there during the program? If some old students are there, it was very difficult at my end to park my vehicle because the entire road is full of water. Why? Because maybe, I don't know, maybe there is some missing where the surface runoff management is concerned. Maybe, I don't know, I have not the detail, but we have to concern about the surface runoff management. If I am running an industry, why the regulatory authority is concerned about what you are doing on monsoon? Because I am polluting my industry, because if there is some industry, definitely there is will be pollution. What I am doing? Entire 8 months I am concentrating how to control. But in monsoon, the entire water is being washed out from my plant to the outer side, and it is polluting the nearby water resource. So this is also very much concerned how to manage the water in monsoon in the extreme point. So the point is, I have only two concerns: conserve water, maximum rainwater harvesting, maximum water recharge, and the second one, carbon footprint. The simple solution, plant tree. Nothing. Only you have to create natural green belt. Okay. Thank you.
Due to time constraints, we will not take any more questions. And thank you so much, sir, for sharing your valuable perspectives and your discussion on how water and energy are two sides of the same coin. With the example of the pharmaceutical industries was very insightful, and how balancing between resources is very important gave us a valuable perspective. Thank you everyone who all participated. Now we will break for lunch. We request all our dignitaries, speakers, faculty members to kindly proceed to the designated dining area. The afternoon keynote sessions will resume at 2:30 p.m. sharp. We request everyone to kindly return to the venue on time, and we request students to please be seated for a while.
Study Coordinator Conserve, to felicitate Mr. Das. Thank you, sir. It is now my pleasure to welcome our speaker. He is a visionary leader whose work illustrates the intersection of engineering excellence and sustainable development. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Ghanshyam Parida, Head Projects, Odisha at ArcelorMittal, Nippon Steel, India. He brings over 2 decades of experience in industrial automation, project management, and power operations. His leadership has been instrumental in steering greenfield and brownfield projects with discipline, governance, and sustainable outcomes. He has also led multiple transformative initiatives in electrical maintenance and energy management across India's major industrial hubs. We are honored to have him share his insights on industrial sustainability and energy efficiency in project operations. Please, sir.
Thank you very much. It's not recorded. Already there, no? It's not recorded. Okay. Yeah.
Slide.
Thank you. Good afternoon, all the professors, the scholars, the students, and the future of India. It's a privilege to be a part of this forum because I can say I have visited so many places. First of all, I want to extend my sincere thanks to all the professors over here, the environment, the hostel, and each and every staffs over here for making my daughter a good student, good person, good scholar. Now she is doing good and working for GIZ German. So why I'm giving an example as such, when I decided to pursue sustainability, I think that time 2017, people are not, some of my friends ask, what decision you are taking? So I thought whatever decision I have taken to send my daughter to this school was one of the best decision I have taken in my life. Thank you very much, sir. So the topic is very interesting. When we think water, we always talk. Water means it's rain, it's river, it is flood, or it is used at your home for various purpose. Then when we talk about energy, whether it is industrialization, your illumination, it is generation, transmission or distribution. But it's not so. When we mix together, nothing is possible to speak separately. It is impossible. Water and energy, they move together. So there is a say, Albert Einstein once he has told, we cannot solve our problems with the same mindset when we have made it. We have to think it differently. The presentation is not about sustainability. India is becoming a global hub. Population is growing, the demand is growing. Traditionally, we have been managing electricity to meet the increasing demands. The future requires integrated thinking. I must thank the students or the professor who has guided the students to choose such a beautiful topic. This is my journey. If you look at, before discussing the technology, I have almost 3 decades of experience in different industries. I work for design, engineering, power, refineries, oil and gas, aluminum, renewable energy, large infrastructure project and steel industry. From a young electrical engineer mindset, leading a large industrial projects, one lesson remains constant. Engineering is not about machines. It is evolution, it is innovation, it is resource optimization. That's what when I realized two are inseparable. Peter Drucker once said, what gets measured get only managed. So the topic is very well defined. Energy and water, they move together. What is the nexus between energy and water? We know, whenever I'm giving a practical example, like when you are using your tap, do you know that? What do you think? It is a drop of water missed or wastage of water. It is not only wastage of water, it is wastage of energy also. To produce that energy which has been utilized to make the water reach at your home is much more than the cost of the water you are using. This is as a cost of pollution, this is at a cost of generation, that is a cost of depletion of your natural resources. There are some surprising numbers. Do you know that energy for water, when we speak about how much of water you are utilizing to generate the energy? Can you please, what are the uses? Anybody? Okay. Actually, when we speak about generation of energy, it is only 4% of the water utilized to generate the energy. This is, previously we are utilizing it as hydropower, but now things have been changed. We are generating hydrogen. We are utilizing it for making green hydrogen and pumping it to different location. Also, renewable energy, which is utilized, called as a pump hydro. I will be coming to that topic differently. But if you look at differently, what is the portion of water helps to produce the energy? You know, when we speak about energy, the energy we get is generated through fossil fuel, yeah, coal power plant we tell, thermal power plant. In thermal power plant, we always speak about coal, nobody speak about water. The consumption of water, do you know what is the tune of consumption of water? When I was working in Aditya Birla Group Hindalco Industry Limited, our power plant size was 150 into 600 megawatts, 6 into 150, 900 megawatts. But the water consumption was 50,000 meter cube per day. It is started with. Out of that, 80% of the water goes towards cooling tower functionaries, others for different purpose. So that is what you think, that how much water you generally uses to generate the power. So why can't we think differently? Then when I talk about that third point, 2B plus, this is actually 2 billion plus peoples are affected for not getting drinking water timely, sufficient drinking water. What is the percentage of water in our earth? 79, almost 79%. But out of which only 4%, 3% of 3 to 4%, 3.8 or 4% of water are fresh water. Out of which 1 to 2% water are reaching to you for usable purpose. Other 2% are not usable. So you see how scarcity water is. Energy, when we talk about hidden energy, energy need water. We utilize it for cooling water, we use for steam generation, we use for hydropower, we also use it for hydrogen production. Hydrogen production, a new term, it has been in the market for, for maybe for 2 decades, but we are speaking more about for last 5 to 10 years. People are talking much about this. The heart pumps blood, but the blood carries oxygen. That is how you survive. So that is the reason, that is how water supports energy. Energy supports water, and we survive. There is I always believe in, you cannot optimize one system while ignoring other system. So water and energy to be looked together and addressed together. When we talk about, when you go for putting up an industry, there are certain norms. We talk that it is a single window or one point of contact. It doesn't happen. You have to approach each and everybody. You people in the future, you will be going, putting up industry and part of the greenfield projects, then you have to approach to the government or any authority to get the approval. For getting the approval, there are certain standard norms. You simply cannot go and ask, I need so much of water. Everything has got a limit. Like, pumping, putting up a plant. When you go even for a construction of industry, I'm giving a practical example. Putting up industry might be, construction of this huge complex. We might have an approach to the government for getting a power connection. When you go for power connection, before giving their approval, you have to submit a feasibility report. What does it carry? What will be your requirement of construction power? You have give it to as a calculation. You work out that this is the water requirement for construction. I have to pump it from this location to that location. This will be our illumination requirement. This will be our welding requirement. You all to work out in detail. Then you get a permission. Simply you cannot ask for 1 megawatt power. Like that I am talking about. For the water, when you are getting, there are a lot of hidden energy behind it. It is when we are drinking water or utilizing it for a specific purpose, you see this, we get it from either groundwater or it has been pumped from a reservoir or a river. So how much of energy it get consumed? Unless we know it, we do not give so much of emphasis on it to control it. So pumping groundwater need around 0.5 to 3 kilowatt hour per meter cube. So you can say 1 meter cube is 1000 liter. So you can calculate what is the energy consumed while getting the water. Second is that you get it treated. Third, long distance transportation. Then fourth, wastewater treatment. Whenever the water, simply what is wastewater treatment? Do you know that this complex might be carrying a STP or ATP? Anybody knows? You know how much energy people are involved in this? Practically I am asking. So I request you, all of you, please do not come as a student. Look at each and every thing present over this complex. Please go there, get the knowledge of that, because that once you come out of this college, this will be very much helpful. When people speak, if you participate, that makes a lot of sense. Correct? Are you agreeing with me? So in your group, somebody is talking about cricket, you don't know who is Sachin Tendulkar. Does it look nice? No. So you are studying in this university which has got a brand image. When you go and talk, when you tell that I am from Javier, you have to also contribute that way. Your discussion has to carry certain valid point. So that is how it comes with your exposure, practical experience. It's not, you can get it only reading. You go, look at the places. When you are sitting in this room, how you can calculate what is the tonnage of the AC getting operated, how much water it is getting consumed, why the AC is running so much. You know, you have to put logical aspects behind it. Then only you get to know everything. Okay. When we see water as a energy. What is water as a energy, I want to say. Now let us reverse our thinking. Can water become energy? Yes or no? How? Anybody? What is the simple principle behind it? Anybody knows how a hydro power works? What do we call as a hydroelectric power plant? How does it works? Perfectly okay. So how much time it can work? I am giving a philosophy behind it. How it has been connected now. What is the season we get good power? What is the season when we don't get hydroelectric? Then there is always shortage of power we talk about in summer season. Why? Because over a period of time, the dam where we reserve the water get emptied out due to evaporation losses, due to the energy what we have consumed, due to cultivation. So now the philosophy has come pumped hydro. What is pumped hydro? So can electrical energy be stored? Yes. That is only one thing, unlike other things, it's a real-time generation and consumption, electricity. But yes, we have technology to store it, but not up to that extent the way we generate. What is the storing capacity, what you know? Now the terminology is called BASE. What is BASE? Battery Energy Storage System. So BASE is basically, you see at your home, UPS, you see inverter. So how much? 2 bulb per 10 hours, 4 fans for 10 hours, that's what. But how much energy can you run your AC? No. So now the terminology comes that pump hydro is coming to picture as a storage of electricity. What we do by this. Now the solar system has come. How many hours you get a solar? When we talk about 30 megawatt, what is the output we get? So I say 30 megawatt average you normally get maximum 20%. Because it starts with 0 in the morning, 5:36 o'clock. It goes to the peak. It won't go 30. It will go up to 25, 24, 25, 26. Then it will come down. By evening it will be 0. Whole night it is 0. So when we design a system, that term is called RTC, round the clock power. What is round the clock power? Suppose you are putting this, we want to make this campus a renewable energy campus. How we can do it? So we have solar system. Daytime it runs. We can put some wind, but wind has got a cycle like solar also. It has got a cycle like this. It has got certain period when we got in, but here not in economically viable in Odisha. So but still we can have wind powers. So for make it continuous process, you have to have something which is very guaranteed. So that is now pump hydro. How pump hydro works? You have rivers, like you have made a dam over a river. So water is going through penstock, it is going through the channel, power channel, you might have seen in Hirakud, it is getting flowing out. So you make another bund at the downstream. So during daytime, with the solar energy, you pump back it to again to the dam. So what you have utilized? The solar energy. Daytime the solar energy is very high. What is the, by the way, what is the solar energy we have so far have been installed in India? Can you believe the number? What is the generation capacity we have in India? Power generation capacity. Pardon? Pardon? Again, please.
Hello.
Around 500, correct. 400, some odd numbers, gigawatt. Then out of that, what is the solar component? Absolutely correct. It's not a declare, but nearly 200 plus, 260. So they have declared 185 up to now it has become 200 plus. Huge number. But the production capacity maximum we have met only 120 gigawatt. But suppose you are installing the system, the uses are round the clock. Maybe certain load you can reduce in the night time, but how to cater to the requirement? You have designed a system to use the solar. You have put a plant. You have to run the plant. Maybe 100 megawatt daytime, you will be needing 20 megawatt night time for putting and sorting up certain portion of the plant. How do you do it? So now the picture has come, hybrid renewable energy. What is hybrid renewable energy? Hybrid renewable energy is that you are putting solar, you are putting wind, you are mapping a pump hydro, which is like a battery storage unit, right? You pump back the water again to the storage. When you need power, you generate the hydroelectricity again. That is called pump hydro. It is nothing but so-called battery energy in the hydro system, right? Again, you know the word called green hydrogen. Well, I'm telling what is the use of water for energy. First is hydro, second is pump hydro, third is green hydrogen. What is green hydrogen? Why it is the hydrogen color is green? Please. Perfect. Very good. Thank you very much. So now, it is also, green hydrogen is also a battery system, you can say. So if you compare, you know, when we generate energy, there is a specific term called calorific value. Or to generate energy, how much energy you are giving, coal energy, fossil energy, or any sort of energy you are giving. When we talk about coal or big power plants, you need around 2000 to 100 kcal per kilowatt hour. 2100 kcal per kilowatt hour you want to generate 1 unit of energy. But the hydrogen, be surprised. What is the coal calorific value? Calorific value means just energy, potential energy of the particular thing. Coal का कितना होता है? How much? It varies between 3000 to 7000, 8000 भी आता है. But we have got natural gas and oil, petroleum, HSD, that carries around 9000. Hydrogen carries 3 times of the energy the coal and the petroleum products carry. It carries around 25,000. So 2.5 times to 3,000. So how do you produce hydrogen? The hydrogen is produced from only water through electrolysis process, but it needs power. Again you consume power and put hydrogen, again generate power. Is it economical? No. But why we call it as a green hydrogen? That is the philosophy behind it. You generate when you have surplus power as a solar system, utilize it to generate the hydrogen, keep it stored, and then utilize it. There is a term called, why I'm talking about this, when you generate energy, we call it as a, now the world is behind, decarbonization. When we produce energy, we generate carbon emission taken places. How much carbon emission has been taken places for 1 megawatt power? How much CO2 we generate? Depends upon the type of generation. If you go to the coal, if you go to the natural gas, if you go to the hydrogen, it takes. But when we talk about the hydrogen, you do not have to consume or generate any CO2. Why? The hydrogen has been generated from the solar energy, and you are utilizing this as a fuel to produce the power. Then it is called green energy or clean energy. So the government is adding certain norms. Prior to this, they have, suppose you have put up a plant, you require 500 megawatt to run the power. So that is called the term is called renewable power obligation. If you are generating power, consuming at a thermal power, you have to give certain amount as a renewable obligation unless you utilize it. So it started with 10%, it gone up to 20%. Now the government has come up with new norms for different industry up to 35%. Now the term is not used. The term is used RCO, renewable consumption obligation, not power obligation. Means it's mandatory. Yeah? It's mandatory. I'm giving a practical example how the renewable energy is benefited to you all. So in aluminum industry, whenever you are supplying anything or you are exporting, it needs a tag how much CO2 has been emitted to produce this plant. So you have to give a certificate. Now in the market, you get premium for supplying the aluminum with certain tax that is called green aluminum. It is been certified by DNB. It is certified by different agencies. So the premium, how much? If you see, aluminum is produced and sold at the rate of $3,200 per ton. The premium nowadays in the market is $100 for selling it as a green aluminum. So that is what the philosophy running behind the renewable energy obligation policy. Correct? Okay. When we talk about water consumption process, you know how many systems are there, how many processes are there for getting even thermal power. Is it only comes from coal? No. It comes from various processes. You get a biofuel. When you generate steam by consuming certain coals or certain fuels, that is called thermal obligation. You are energizing by putting the thermal effect. So it comes from coal thermal, it comes from natural gas, it comes from nuclear power. There you are putting the energy. The water consumption is highest in thermal power. Why? Because thermal power process, anybody, people are any engineering background, anybody? Okay. So actually thermal power process is you need to convert the steam to water, then only you can pump it at high pressure. So the conversion takes place, unless it is 100 less than 100 degree at different pressure. when we talk about consumption by technology, you can see that hydropower is consumed more of the water because not only for generating and rotating the turbine, because it is been stored at a very wide spread over areas. So maximum of the things happen, losses happen because of the evaporation. Maximum of the evaporation. So that is how the you consume or almost 9,000 gallons for in loss in evaporation. The minimum you consume in wind power, because it is only used for blade cleaning. Solar also, you now the technology has come. You know how a solar cleaning has been taken place. Solar panel. Have you ever seen how the solar panels are getting clean? Because the efficiency, you know, the dust emission has been taking place. It has been happening in India or any industrial sector. You put power wherever it is been used. When you put solar over there, definitely emission takes place. Emission means you will have dust coverage over the panel. So you have to clean it. Digitization also plays a vital role there. It's not only water clean. Now it has been used. There is a technology called fan cleaning system. There is rotating blades, loose plastic blades. It has been moving automatically. It is cleaning the solar plants with certain chemicals. So there are also people thinking when they are declining, it's a renewable energy, and a term is used how much water is being consumed for generating this much of solar. It's 9 to 10 gallon, but still it is under control. People are utilizing different technology for not utilizing water as a clean agent. So what is the industrial water? I was talking about this in the beginning. What is the use of the water when you go put up an industry? You have to go and ask. Thermal power was utilizing 3 point. The government norm is now when you go to Pollution Control Board or MOEF, Ministry of Environment and Forest, they will keep a guideline to utilize maximum 3.5 meter cube of water. But do you know that because of this innovation by the people and the engineers like you, it has come down to as less as 1.8. And Vaisali was telling when I was heading that power plant of Aditya, it was having world benchmark of utilizing only 1.8 meter cube per megawatt. Now, Vaisali was telling that it has come down to 1.65. You see the magic numbers. For getting anything, you have to work behind the scene. What are the efforts you can? I'll give a certain example. I have served in Welspun when I joined 3 years back. A specific number I am telling. The consumption of water was 500 meter cube per day, 500 meter cube per day, but it has come down to 120 meter cube per day. How does it happen? Can you believe it? What is the cost of the water over there? The cost of water is 160 rupees per meter cube, which is a big number. Huh? Why it is so? Because the places where the plant is established is in Gandhidham, where you won't get fresh water at all. They pump maybe 200, 300 miles to get the water. But what they have done, a very surprising things. They have tied up with 3 municipalities in the circle of 50 kilometers, man. And they got all the STB water. They have got a 40 MT STB over there. They utilize their water. They give back to the society. They are supplying water because those areas are short of waters, drinking waters. They are supplying water back, and there is a surplus. They have a charging facility, bed charging facility. They have a big storage like a big lake, maybe 25 lakh meter cube of water storage capacity they have. They are generating water from there. So that is why I'm talking about this. Anything get measured can be controlled. I'll give a small example. When you are working, approach very practical. People think one drop of water or some drops of water is getting down. I ask the people over there, please take a bucket of 5 liter, put at the bottom of the place where it has been getting wasted, count down, measure it once it is getting filled, or hourly you measure it. How much water is getting wasted? So you take those water, practically measure it, you calculate how much money you are wasting. It's not only water. The thing behind what I tell to say, I just wanted to say, anything can be measured, can be controlled. So you people always requested in your complex, please take a round, see that where all it is happening. You people are sometimes forgetting to close the tap. So what is the flow rate you see? What is the energy behind it? Say, check that CO2 you are contributing to the humankind because of your negligence. So that is what you should look at. It's not only being a student, scoring marks. I request all of you to look at what you can contribute to the society, to the complex, to the organization. What is the transformation equation? Today, we optimize not only water, not only electricity. We optimize together. Now, people are not talking. Previously, we are talking about how much water, how much electricity we are. Now we are talking about specific consumptions. Rightly, I told you that per megawatt electricity, how much water you are consuming. Now people are talking each and every aspect, productivity, specific consumption. They don't talk output bill. Have you ever seen? You people have seen balance sheet. Previously, what we are talking about? We are talking about revenue. Previously, it was talking about revenue. Now, what we are talking about? We talk about the bottom line. We talk about the value proposition. We don't talk about the revenue now. What is the goodwill in the market we talk about? So now it is not the numbers. It is the productivity. It is the specific. It is the output. That is what the transformation has been taken place. You people to adapt to the new requirement of the industry, new requirement of the society. So when I talk about liquid steel, I am giving an example how we look at. In one of the organization, this is only the way you think at. When you produce a liquid metal, you know how aluminum, steel has been produced, is being produced, It is in the form of liquid. So what you do? The liquid is sent to different location, gives different shapes. You call this as extrusion process. You call it as a casting process, billet, saw, ingot. You give it different shapes. So what do? You cool down the metal. Again, to give different shapes, what do? Again, you reheat. Apply different pressures. So recently, in Sambalpur, the aluminum produce, liquid aluminum produce, is been sent to a different plant, bound, because When no, two companies are there, it cannot be put in a single complex. It has to be a different boundary. Beside the boundary, one more industry has come up called OPAR. OPAR, what it does? So what we do? OPAR Industries does wires and cables. So instead of they're doing this, they're purchasing cold metal and again heating and producing wires. They take that hot metal from there. They produce the wires. What happened? We got, the company has got awards for that, because you know the productivity, the change in energy requirement, the change in water requirement, that is how people looking at how the productivity can be increased. So I'll talk about cycle. Previously people are talking about take, make, use and discharge. What you are talking about now? We are talking about reduce, recover, reuse and recycle. So how do you get reduce? When you design the things, please do not think as how to repair. Think at how to eliminate. In the engineering itself, the concept has come right from the engineering stage. When you are doing the fit, you have to do all those things. You have to take care. And during design, and now the people are when coming up with a new industry, they are making all the force at place before putting it up. Now people are thinking about digitization, people are thinking about reuse, recycle. Now things are at place, you don't have to do any new things. Only everything during engineering stage has been taken care. The goal is not zero waste. The goal is maximum value per unit of energy. When we talk about reduce, design for low water intensity, optimize process condition, attack hidden losses, then measure the right unit. Do you know what is ZLD? Nowadays, whenever you are going to formulate a plant, any project, anything, any small plant also, people will ask you whether it is ZLD or not. Means whatever water you are taking, it is been measured. Whatever water you are leaving outside, that is also been measured. So the difference is considered this point to point contact. Nothing like you give a calculation that this much of water I can use. No. Whenever you are leaving water outside, even they are considering the evaporation losses also. Whenever you are storing at an open point. So people look at ZLD, what is zero liquid discharge, how it can happen. The water gets polluted, it carries collects some salts in between. Then you evaporate, collect the salt. The technology available for ZLD nowadays, just remember the term, because I am falling short of time, cannot describe more in detail. Then water recover, salt, I was giving in that, water recovery system, salts, mineral, waste heat, nutrient and mechanicals. One more thing, we in India, we have a facility, or we have a lot of resources of fresh water. In Israel, Saudi Arabia, Iran and different places, how they get water? They don't have approach to water, fresh waters. They are coming up with desalination plants. How much energy you contribute to formulate or put up a plant of desalination and get a fresh water? Lot of energy. As a young mind, young engineers, what do you have to think? How much less energy you can consume? That is what you should think, and that is the future ahead. Nowadays, that term called AI, artificial intelligence. I have told you, anything is measured can be controlled. How can you measure it? I'll show you a process. This is a process of a plant. How water is received, how water is consumed at different places, how it is being discharged at different, how is recycled. So every point, how you can monitor? Is it a human brain? Manually, can it be done? No. So a digitization technology been adapted. What is digital twin? Digital twin is nothing but a replica of a system which has been created in a machine to give you training. A people or engineer get trained on the digital AI platform. It's just a replica. I remember one day, VK Saraswat, Dr. VK Saraswat, he has visited recently to us. One question he has asked, he has seen our simulator. One question he has asked, why the time delay between one function to other function? My engineer has replied, sir, it will take because the pressure drop will take place. Who has seen the pressure drop? Have you seen? So this technology is given to explore, evolve, innovate, whether I can do it or not. Everything you have to try. So that will be supported by digital twin. If you are doing something, you can, you want to save something, you can bring down the timing, you can bring down the cost. You have to practice there with through your learning, machine learning. Now, whenever we are going for designing, the smart sensors are being taken place. It is put. I was talking about this digital twin technology. I am giving one live example. How many minutes? Line up. Small final example. When we are getting water from the reservoir, it was coming. It was getting extracted to the pond. So it was dropping around 5 meter. It was dropping 5 meter. Do you know there was certain energy? We have put a small turbine on that. It has given that much of energy to illuminate this area. Who has done it? A young engineer, a DET, diploma engineer trainee has done it. Why I am giving some this type of example? You young minds should think differently. You can do different things. Only thing, previously the technology was not available. No, we are approaching our senior manager. Can you please share the drawings during our days? It was kept in their library. Now everything is at your mobile. So people spend time instead of only surfing media networks. You think innovative idea. Everything is available now in the media. So actually, our role, if people, some of people will be you will be working as a policymaker, you will be working in industry, you work as a researcher, or you work as an individual. Then you see what policy you can bring, what innovation you can take, what research you can do, what should be your contribution towards reducing energy consumption, reducing specific consumption, reducing water consumption, how you can correlate each other. Any wastage of water or energy can convert it to indifferently. You can correlate to each other. Any wastage of water, can it generate a certain energy, or any energy, can it be stored in the form of water to get back energy again? For the next generation of industry, the scarce resource will not be simply water or energy. It will be availability to create more value from every unit of both. So, any question here? I have sort of. My philosophy is very simple. More output, less resources, greater impact. So I have a question to all of you. What should be your contribution to save energy, save water, reduce energy and reduce water? What the 4R can be used, how you can utilize 4R? Thank you very much. The future belongs to you, the way you think and deliver.
The floor is now open to questions, but since we are running slightly behind, so we'll take one question. The rest of the questions you can send it to Conserve and we'll forward it to sir.
Please. Yeah, please. You are audible.
So you mentioned about pumped hydro storage, and interestingly, it's very symbolic of the water energy nexus because water is essentially used as a battery by virtue of its potential energy. So I would like to know what are the benefits we can expect from pumped hydro storage, and what are the challenges that we can consider when uh, at a scale when we're implementing it at a scale when compared to BESS and other storage systems that are in place.
Thank you very much. A very good question. Do you, audible? Okay. So actually, what is the storage cost? You generate electricity at 4 rupees or 5 rupees.
Yes.
But you spend 1 rupees 80 paise in storage.
Right.
You utilize battery 1 rupees to 3 rupees, depending upon the size and depending upon the capacity of discharge. That is called C1, C2, C3 capacity discharge. What is the maximum capacity and what is the rate where you want at what rate you want to discharge the battery. That is at the 3-4 factors. During design you have to concept. It is 2 rupees. You generate 1.5 rupees solar. You spend 2 rupees in storage. So if you look at pump hydro, I have told you that before that some gentleman boy was replied 250 megawatt install capacity of solar, whereas we generate maximum 110. So because it is not a RTC round the clock availability, and daytime you produce so much it is being sold at throwaway price. People are not there to purchase, and our system is not adequate enough to transport power from one source to other. Whereas this pump hydro plays a vital role. Any reservoir is having ample space. Whatever water it is getting discharged, it can be stored back again, except peak monsoon, wherever there is flood. Like Mahanadi level water level has gone beyond 630, so 21 gets open. Except those periods, other periods they have ample space.
Yes.
So what you do when you are pumping, our channel anybody has seen? So you look at that channel. Technically, if you see the channel, it is possible to pump back the head. You are not spending any money. In different locations in Andhra, they are developing so many places. If you have a catchment area in the upstream, it is not affecting any land as such or any habitats. Then these pumping. Hydro, there are two types of hydro. Major hydro, minor hydro, small hydro. Anything less than 25 megawatt. You might have seen all the canals they put hydro, but it is not operational. That Taldeta canal, different places they have installed small hydro because we have not managed it effectively. That is why it has gone. We spend crores of rupees for that. If it is maintained properly, it can be done. And the cost of the power used, storage, used for battery purpose, used in battery purpose, 1 rupees 80 paise to 3 rupees. And in hydro, it is much, much less, negligible. You want only capex, no opex. Capex, opex, you need only capital expenditure. You do not need any operational expenditure.
Okay. Got it, sir. Thank you.
10 times less the storage picture.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
For your enlightening session. Your discussion was insightful and the philosophy of its energy water gave us fresh perspective on the concept of generating energy from water, particularly green hydrogen pumped storage hydropower, further deepened our understanding of the immense potential of water in shaping a sustainable energy. Please join me in giving him a huge round of applause.
Now, I'm happy to invite Mr. Tejas Joshi, co-founder STGC and founding partner Euros Geotech Lab, to kindly join us on the stage. May I request Professor Arup Roy to please welcome Mr. Joshi. Our final speaker for the day brings together industry experience and academic expertise in textile sustainability. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Shalini Mathur, Lead Sustainability, Raymond Limited. With 10 years of experience in textile sustainability and apparel, Ms. Mathur holds a PhD in sustainable textiles from the National Institute of Fashion Technology. Her research focuses on the environmental and financial performance of dyeing and printing MSMEs, with a strong focus on enabling sustainable practices through policy and innovation. Today, she will bring valuable insights into sustainability across resource-intensive industries and the water energy nexus. Please join me in giving Ms. Shalini Mathur a warm welcome. Ma'am, please.
Hello, everyone. Tiring day, right? Heard a lot about water, a lot about saving energy, a lot about saving water, the nexus, and all that, right? Now, let me just initiate this by telling you all about textiles. So, you know about saving waters, you know about saving energy. You've learned it recently, right? So, my understanding is that you have grasped it. Now, next is, can you tell me how much of water has been used for producing 1 kg of any kind of a fabric? How much water, how much energy has been used? Okay, let me give you one big insight. So only for India, we use 93 millions of water, which is 20% of our entire industry. And compare it with the kind of contribution we do for GDP. It's just 3 to 4%, right? So we are the only industry which is like less contributor, but lots of taker in it. Now what I will tell you is how much GHG are we producing? 10% of the entire industry. Reason being, we've been doing it from our traditional ways, and we did convert ourselves into polyester makers, and we did try all the dyes locally. We did not do anything scientifically, and that's how we have converted our water, our land polluted. Okay, any of you have little bit of textile knowledge? Any of you? How do we do it? What all is there from agriculture? So when we start, let's forget about the nexus. Let me tell you about what is the total process of it. You create 1 meter of fabric, you create 1 kg of fabric. we have to start making the fabric. And I'm not talking about it in the factory. I'm talking about it from the agricultural land, right? So for 1 kg of fabric, we use 200 liter of water. How many liters of water do you drink in a day? And the jacket you are wearing or the shirt you are wearing, how much meters is being used? You are wearing shirt and trouser, at least 4 meter of fabrics. How much kg is there? So you are wearing water, you are wearing energy, right? Now, forget everything about nexus, everything. Let me take you to the real culprit of it. You have ever looked into your grandmom's almirah, box, suitcase, anything? How many garments she had? 3, 4, 5, 6. Look at your mom, maybe 30, 40, 50, 100. Now go back and look at your almirah today. Right? Now who is the culprit is us. Because we keep looking at Myntra day in, day night, right? We keep looking at Amazon. Okay, this one is selling me for 300 rupees, but this skirt is selling me only for 250. Let me go ahead and take it. Have you ever thought about it? We being from a sustainability school, have you ever thought it कि हमको 250 का skirt लेना चाहिए? It's polyester. It has already taken fossil fuel, correct? So what I'm trying to say is when we talk about energy water nexus, the nexus should be contributed by us as well, correct? You cannot take out people from any kind of a nexus when you are talking about saving, reducing, reusing, recharging, anything. First of all, the burden comes to us. Okay. So I think I should bypass many of the slides because we have heard about the nexus, we have heard about everything, and I just told you about the consumption. You can see it in my slides later. Now what I want to tell you is we all talk about reduce, right? And we all talk about how do we optimize our sources. So for that, first of all, we need to know what are we using. So first step is going to be your measuring. You have to measure. What is your intensity? I'll give you a small example of Silver Spark Apparel Limited, which is the garmenting unit of Raymond's. We used to use water 60 liters per person. I am not giving you the contest in the fabric production or the garment production. Reason being, it's a people-centric industry. So we checks it always in the people management sort of a thing. If we are using 60 liter per person per day, where is it going? Right? And we have certainly bring it down to 40 liters in a span of a year. What was it we were missing? We were not measuring it. We have not deployed any kind of a new machinery, any kind of a new system, just digital meters connected to a real-time monitoring system. You get to know that your leakage, you get to know that your steam traps are leaking, you just fix that and you have already saved 20 liters of water in a single day. Right? Now these small measures, when you take upon GHG का example भी देती हूँ आप लोगों को. Okay. So we were having 10 kg GHG intensity per jacket and trouser set in a year of 10 kg. In a year of CO2e, in a year's span, the same has got down for one factory 3.5. No magic happened. Nothing happened. What have we done? Our entire energy, which was coming from BESCOM, we have converted it into renewable energy. We ourselves are having solar power plant only for 17% of our consumption. Rest of it, we are getting it from PP. Sorted, correct? So we have come up till 95% of our grid energy as renewable. GHG reduce, simple solution. Nothing has been put, no money gone into it, no magic has happened, just a simple system on the place. Similar cases, once you understand how do you work on it, leave aside garmenting. Let's go to the fabric mills. Fabric mills were not having MRV. MRV concentrator is the concentrator which takes out, it's an evaporator. It takes out evaporate the water and leave the concentrate aside. You can use the salts and everything back. Nothing of it was in place. One MRV evaporator in place and that factory is doing awesome on it. One basic solution, it's not a very expensive solution, right? So these small things maybe puts you back on place, which maybe industry is continuously developing. You just have to keep an eye on it, measure it, keep moving it. These are few examples which we have still considered. You know, when we talk about textile, so agriculture takes a lot of water. After that, spinning and knitting and all that takes a lot of energy. But when you do the dyeing and when you do the finishing, the wet processing part is the huge contributor, huge guzzler of water and energy both. Now, what do you do in it? There are latest technologies available in the market which are not expensive, but if you calculate the ROI on it, you cut down on 60%, 80%, 60% on your water, 80% on your energy, and you're done with it, right? So CO2 technology of your dyeing is such a technology which is very common in market nowadays. Once you do your fabric with CO2 technology or air drying, just accept a basic one, not with the water dyeing. You just move one step ahead and you are saving 60% of your water, which is a magic, right? Now let me talk about another thing. This water and energy work together. But we ever thought about it that water can be renewable, but energy is. So choice is ours. What to save, what not to save. Correct? If this nexus we are talking about, energy renewable, we can use very, very easily. It's available. As sir said that you can do the hydro pumping and all. You can store it as well. So you have plenty of options to use energy, but there is no option to use water. You can only reuse it. That's the only option you have. You cannot create water at all. These are few examples, which is from ZLD. 90 to 98% water you can reuse on site, but at the what cost, right? But still you would like to go ahead with it because energy is renewable and water is not. Again, these are few things which has to be optimized, measure both together, but then work together on it, work simultaneously, do not lose water at all. If we think about textile mills and if we think about the garmenting units, I guess we can not lose even a single drop of water. We can take back every single thing. And yeah, of course, for mills, we do lose a little bit of water, but then garmenting units, you can completely take back entire water in system back. All this we have already talked about. When you measure, you have to optimize it. First thing is always as ROI, because all your bosses will ask you about what is your ROI. How are you going to give me back? How much time is going to take? So first of all, calculate, measure, optimize it. How much cost is going to take? Make it a business case. Make everything a single business case, and then you are the winner over it. I guess that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for sharing your valuable insights. Now we will open the dais for a brief Q&A session.
Anyone for any question? I'll be surprised actually because textile industry needs you guys a lot. Yeah, please.
Allowed by CGW and all that rainwater harvesting can't be done in textile industry. But still, that what could be the possibilities to have the groundwater fundamentally to manufacture a lot of like textile material?
Right, sir. So let me answer you. Rainwater harvesting for garmenting units are 110% allowed, which we are deploying currently. And okay, all right, for mills we cannot do, but of course you can go ahead and do it in the surrounding areas. At least if you can do the recharge, your groundwater will come up. So that way you can settle down on something. Maybe if you are not saving for yourself, it's okay, but then rest of the things can be done easy.
Okay, and one more thing, do you really like the leader of the company where you really works, and do they really think of taking this forward in terms of the water credit? Like you might be knowing, but water credit similar to the carbon credit, if you save so much of a water, it can be really paid off to you eventually.
What you are saying 100% makes sense, sir. And I should not shy away in saying that the Raymonds has the vision of going ahead and doing it. Right now, like for our 5 plants, for the 5th plant which we have recently made, we have made the rainwater harvesting for 4 months. But this is again, I'm talking about garmenting unit. And water credits and energy credits both are recently been discussed and we are taking it forward, but it is a long way to go. It is a long way to go. First of all, we have to digest that we have to reduce water. That is very, it's a tedious task to make people understand that you have to save water, first thing. Second thing is you have to measure water. Third thing is you have to pay extra for water credits is something else. So it will take a little bit of time, but it will be done.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Divyagni Tripathi. I am from MBSM 2527. My question for you is Raymond doing anything related to closed loop water system in case of technology, cost, or water quality?
I'll tell you again, coming back to garmenting units only. So what we are doing is we do have an STP. We are using the water, as ma'am said, Vaishali ma'am said that why are you using it for gardening? So from past 2 years, we had changed it. Our RO reject used to go into flush, and the similar goes with STP water for flush system. So now we are doing that. I didn't mention it in my PPT. Practically all garmenting units are conceptually ZLD because we don't lose single drop of water.
Thank you.
Definitely, ma'am. Myself, Shinchan Datta, second year MBSM student. So you had a beautiful slide of synergy versus trade-offs, right? So like giants like Raymond can obviously do that, but you as a professional, how would you suggest the larger unorganized textile industry to follow that, or a roadmap towards that?
I would certainly say that here the policymakers have to come in. I did not mention that my PhD is at Jodhpur area. There, that's what I could push. That's the exactly thing which pushed me to do my PhD, because I could see that the screen printers are standing on the dyed floors without the shoes, and the kind of dye baths they are using, the same clothes we are wearing. If you see that, you would say that, okay, this is colored and this is screen printed and I might not be able to wear it anymore. But that's how it is working. Only problem is those guys have been doing it from their generations and they could not develop it in them how to improve themselves. Reason being, I just told you in between the polyester industry came, correct? So all of them got into the printing of it and then wet processing of it. They don't make the polyester over there, but they do wet processing and all that. Until unless someone knocks on their door and tell them that this is what you are doing wrong, you should not do, then it makes sense. So when we were talking about CETP, CETP is one thing which is working over there, and heads off to those people, they have created it on their own. It was not government funded. They did it on their own. They're running it on their own, including within the steel industry, which is a very good thing. So you just have to, what should I say, empower them, tell them that this can be done by other ways also. It's easy.
Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Abraham, first year MBS. Ma'am, I was wondering if there's any way that these measures, like how we can save water and all these things, can be converted to or can be used to address the issue of fast fashion that we have today.
Okay. You have seen the ads of Sheen. You all are on systems all the time, right? Have you seen the advertisement of Sheen? There's a lady who is wearing the garbage throne, correct? So these kind of things should come from policymakers. And sorry to bring it again, but that's the only way to bring down the fast fashion. This is all started after 1980s and all that. This can go back, this can be controlled also, but has to have a lot of ruling on it. Otherwise, it will not happen. That's the only way.
Good afternoon, ma'am. So I have a doubt regarding Israeli process. My name is Sasidadana. So there was a byproduct of sludge and salt residues that comes from Israeli processing. So is there any way to increase circularity with this, or using it as a fuel in any other stages?
See, I will tell you, the salts generally goes back into the system. So there's no problem with it, right? But of course, sludge of ETP cannot be used. It can only convert, maybe what I was reading few days back is it can be used as the raw material for creating energy, but I'm not 100% sure. It was a small paper. STP sludge. See.
I personally have used STB and ATB slots. The calorific value is 50% of that of coal. You can say the prices of coal around 3,000 calorific value coals comes around 1,000 rupees or 3,000 rupees, 1 rupees per kcal. So here also you get that around 2,000. 1,500 to 2,000. But exactly you have to blend it proportionately so that you get that specific heat at the boiler. So that is the technology. It is being used.
And for STP sludge, agriculture people keep on asking. So this is not at all an issue.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Ma'am, my name is Alan Matthew. I'm from the second year MBA batch of SM. So my question is this, ma'am. So, like textile recycling is considered as a way to reduce water consumption when compared to using virgin fibers. So how does one balance the water savings from using a textile that is recycled? Because once you recycle a textile, the fibers become shorter and they're mechanically weaker compared to using virgin fibers. So how do you balance the water savings and the compromised strength in the fibers in the new cloth?
See, water is 100% saved. 100 nahi to 50%, 80% is saved because you are not producing a new fiber, first thing, right? So your mill has been saved completely, correct? Now this process of using the same fiber, which has been shortened, should generally it's been strengthened using the another fiber. So the same recycled yarn doesn't come back in the market. It is always mixed with something. So you will, whenever you see that 100% recycled, 100% recycled as in the material which has been used has been mixed with something, some raw, otherwise 100% recycled doesn't have the strength. It will not be in market then.
Yes.
So what I'm trying to say is that 30%, 40% of yarn has been mixed with 60% of the remaining one, the newer one, and the yarn gets the strength.
Thank you.
Hello, ma'am. Ayush this side from MBA SM 2026-28. So my question is that textile industry is still one of the most water-intensive industry in this whole world. So will it be a threat in our long-term basis?
It is. It is. Currently, it is. It's just that we've recognized it just now. If we could have recognized in 80s like we did for other industries, maybe we could have saved it. But more or less, even if we start doing it now, it's the best thing. And nowadays, whatever policies we are getting, it is pushing us constantly that we have to save it. We have to save it. So it will be working very soon. It is a threat for sure.
Thank you.
So we'll take one last question from first year batch.
Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Avinash, MBA SM first year. My question is, what is the biggest challenge textile industry may face while achieving that near zero water loss? As it could be technological or cost or infrastructure challenge that the textile industry may face.
See, the cost is okay, it is manageable. Infrastructure is where we are lacking majorly. We are not ready and we have not built our factories, our industry as we can get to the net zero water or net zero energy. So we are 100% dependent on others how to achieve that. Like I just gave my example that I have got my energy renewable from other industries on PP and everything, right? So the cost is also what I've got majorly, but then I'm dependent on someone else.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your valuable perspectives on textile sustainability, resource efficiency, and sustainable transformation. Your discussion on how to optimize the system and to build a closed loop system for water and power in textile was very insightful, and the example of Single Park Garments Limited helped understand the topic better. Now, please join me in giving her a warm round of applause.
And with that, we come to the end of the formal sessions for day one of Parivartan 2026. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to all our keynote speakers for sharing their expertise, experiences, and perspectives with us today. We also thank our dignitaries, faculty members, participants, and the entire Conserve team for making today's conversations possible. We now invite everyone to join us for high tea. Thank you, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow for day two of Parivartan 2026. Thank you.
The high tea and snacks is for everyone, so it's arranged upstairs.
एक फोटो कर सकते हैं